Well, if you order something, they send you a sticker. So.
And you put it right on your laptop?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that allowed?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like you get stickers from every place, but you don't just chuck it all on your laptop, do you?
I had a...
Tino's got like 1,000 on his bumper, too.
Oh, you're one of those guys,
No,
eh?
don't put that in the ether, man. I don't want people to think that about me.
Let's get
And we're back. Morning Shootaround, episode 5. Back with the regular cast of characters and back to your regularly scheduled programming. It's NLL goaltender Christian Del Bianco. It's the man who built the place, Tyler Pace, and not Challen Rogers, but we got Keegan Bell.
Pretty much the next best.
Pretty much the next best thing.
Same build.
Before we get into everything that we got going on, because it was a busy week in the National Lacrosse League, and as I've been told, Keegan, you are a man of plenty stories. Before we get to that, we got to pay some bills, because this podcast, as usual, is brought to you by the Performance Center, and this episode is brought to you in part by X-Treme Threads. With over 15 years of industry-leading customer service, a local family owner-operated business, X-Treme is your one-stop shop for all your business and team apparel needs. Specializing in custom, sublimated team uniforms worn by teams and clubs around the world, contact them today to customize your team with X-Treme. We're also brought to you in part by Panam Contracting. If you're looking for top-notch flooring that you can trust, Panam Contracting has you covered. Whether it's your home or business, they specialize in both commercial and residential flooring across BC. 3 things set them apart from the rest: reliability, quality, and speed. Panam Contracting gets the job done, and they get it done right. If you need fast flooring that looks great and lasts, find their email in the description of this episode and receive your quote today. Panam Contracting, your go-to flooring experts. Keegan Bell, welcome to Morning Shootaround.
Thank you very much. First of all, what an ad read.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah,
That would have taken me an hour.
We have another potential sponsor coming on, and their only stipulation is that Delbs has to read the ad.
Yeah. It's going to be a long ad.
Yeah, that'll be a tough
We're gonna
one.
have to
Good thing I'm not
pause.
there for that one. It's a little late already. And
That's okay.
We can get a live audience for that. I bet you people would want to see and hear you read.
We're at that point. We just have a crowd.
We'll get the Patreon going for the boys. Get a
It's
couple
just
bucks.
Keegan Bell.
Yeah.
Just hiding in the office.
All right. Well, Keegan, you are, of course, a trainer and coach here in the Pro Caliber system, which when I was doing my notes today and I was kind of thinking about that, I guess that kind of makes Tyler Pace your boss a little bit.
Yeah.
What is he like as a boss, and do you have any grievances you'd like to air live on the podcast?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. No, he's in all seriousness, no, he's a great boss. Like when we need something or we have something that we want to talk about, he's a super easy guy to talk to and have that conversation about. It was a little weird when we played against him and I was playing defense on him, and I'm like, can I whack him here? Or is that kind of like, am I going to get fired if I take a penalty on him here or anything like that? But no, it's been awesome since I came over here. And I mean, getting an opportunity to help kids and train kids to get to the next level and hopefully make them NLL superstars one day and be able to say I had a little piece of that is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and what I'll say, Keegan came on board, and we had to fight and claw to get him over here. But since coming over, he's been like the Swiss Army Pro Caliber employee.
He's the franchise tag here.
He's the face of the franchise. He's in the schools, he's at the gym, he's on the field. He kind of is able to do everything, and it's nice to have someone with his credibility and kind of the education that he has and the knowledge that he has to be able to pass that on to the kids. It's huge for us and takes a load off my back too.
So you have no grievances to air then?
No.
Delbs, do you have any grievances to air about Tyler Pace as your boss? Give me something, please.
Nah, he's just always stressed, but that's just a Tyler thing, not just as a boss.
Yeah.
Tough. All right, Keegan, something I've been dying to ask you. Honestly, maybe we've talked about this off air, but I'm sure the people would love to hear your answer to this as well. You've been a forward and a goal scorer your entire life, and then now in present day your role. What has that and defender role? What has that transition been like for you to become a defender now?
It's been super hard. To be completely honest, it's super hard.
Really selling it.
Not really. Well, like
Just no glory.
realistically,
I'm a
like
peacock. You gotta let me fly.
no, but like basically since intermediate and junior, pretty much only focusing on coming out the front gate and being somewhat successful out of there, and then kind of in the NLL having to learn how to play the opposite side of the ball. Right? It's been tough, but I mean at the end of the day, it's like I told Saskatchewan when I signed in Saskatchewan, I was like, I'll play goalie. I'll play whatever you want me to. And that actually did happen. But outside of that, like it's difficult, but it's at the same time, it's pretty fun to like every time you go out and play, you're challenging yourself because it's not the most comfortable spot. It's starting to get more comfortable and I'm starting to feel better in those positions, but it was a tough transition off the hop. And wasn't ideal.
To start playing defense against the best offensive players in the world, that's a tough pill to swallow. Tough job there.
You did it too.
Yeah,
You
I
did
did
it off
it too.
like a holdout too.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah, I got smashed. I was playing so early in my career, like first year of my career, I was playing defense, and was it Buffalo?
It was in Buffalo, the flying elbow.
In Buffalo.
People's elbow got you.
In Buffalo. So Callum Crawford's on his side playing offense for Buffalo, and I'm on defense on the other side. He kind of throws a ball across, and it like bounces, so it took like a nice bounce off the boards, and it's kind of like in the air. So I'm like, oh, I might have a breakaway here. I go up to get the ball, come down, and just get the people's elbow right to the chin. And I was down and out. Couldn't believe it. And then
Welcome to the show, kid.
yeah, honestly, that's what it felt like. That was my welcome to the show moment.
I didn't know that about you. That you started playing defense when you first came in.
Yeah, I was good at it. And then
I don't know about
Is that what I should have said?
I was good at it. I'm
what I was
so
supposed to
good at it. Pacer was so good at defense that they had to put him on
Yeah,
auto.
Like instead of just being honest,
said,
and
"We
saying
gotta
it was super
stop
hard,
this.
I should
This
have
is
been
terrible."
like, yeah.
I was
It's awesome.
carpooling. I was carpooling with Eli this weekend because every now and again I do get caught on defense. And I was saying to Eli, I was like, man, it's so ridiculous back there. Like I've got 5 different defenders saying all these different things to me. Like one saying open, one saying shoot, one saying get through, one saying move left or whatever. And he's like, well, those are all different calls that we use. Like you should have done those things that they said for you to do. I was like, oh, okay.
They're just spamming buttons trying to get you to do the right thing.
yeah.
They're just, Tyler, please don't think for yourself.
Yeah. Just listen.
In all seriousness, I feel like your answer to that is super refreshing to hear, that you genuinely do feel like it's been hard to learn, because I feel like a lot of people, when answering something like that, they've just been, like, I'll do whatever it takes, which is of course like what you said, but to just be as honest and forthcoming with that information, that yes, it has been a tough transition, is super refreshing. I don't think a lot of people would have answered it that way.
I mean, it's just the truth, realistically. Like, I think at the very start, when I first kind of got, like, asked but told that I was going to be switching to the back gate, it was one of those things that, like, it happened in Vancouver when they were like, hey, if you're going to stay, you're going to learn to play out the back gate. And I was like, well, I don't want to get cut, so I'm learning. So basically the next year in the WLA, I went back and played offense, and then went back to the NLL and went and played defense. And then I was in the ALL. And then in the ALL, I was trying to play offense at the same time because the coaches knew that I was naturally an O guy, not a natural O guy. That's the wrong thing to say.
Natural goal scorer.
But naturally, I was more of an offensive
pure.
player, but I was still trying to do both, and I didn't necessarily like focus 100% on being like, all right, that dream's over. I just want to be in a jersey every week, and that's kind of what I've done now. Is been like 10 defensive players play a game. Well, 9 now. There's a lot of face-off guys and stuff like that. So 9 defensive players play a game, and 3 or 4 right-handed offensive players play.
Yeah.
Right? So numbers-wise, it's
better.
mathematical equation.
One thing I will say is, being of your stature, it helps, right?
It
Like
does.
there's some guys that kind of get stuck in that position where it's such a hard league. There's so many good players, and they're 5'10",
Yeah.
170 pounds. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just out of the league, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have that going for you, and obviously you're willing, right? Like guys will do whatever it takes to play lacrosse and play in the best league in the world.
The hardest part out of everything, like especially being a trainer and like knowing kind of what I got to work on and stuff like that, has been footwork. Like the footwork is so much different. Instead of going forward, you're now going backwards. So training and going through college and training to go forwards is now everything's being flipped, and I'm trying to do it the opposite direction, right? So it's a lot of different things, especially on the training side, that's changed a little bit as a defensive versus an offensive player.
So as a D guy, but as like an O guy historically, are you able to like read a situation? Like if an offense is going to run a certain play, like you kind of see it coming because that's how you would kind of do it?
I'm way better at it now, but at the start, like the first couple times playing defense, I'd be like, oh, they're running progression. And then next thing you know, my back's like halfway up the floor. And I'm like, oh, they did run it. Like I was right, but I just was thinking about it. That's like basically the term is once you have to think on defense, you're already too late, right? So yes, starting to recognize it now makes it a little bit easier. We do a really good job in Saskatchewan too with our film and stuff like that. So we see a lot of the plays that happen regularly, and it's a lot easier to see a little bit later. But yeah, most of the plays, like knowing kind of how to run them, it does help a lot. But once you think you're too late.
All he's thinking is, I would have shot that.
Oh, every single time.
Churchy, pass me the ball.
Every single time. Yeah.
He's like, I'm staying.
Oh, yeah. I tried that a couple times. That's
got
that's
the
not
wave?
good for
Got the wave?
Oh yeah, got the hard double-handed. Both get off. I'm like, well, I might have a chance here.
You sure?
I feel like if Derek Keenan is yelling you to get off,
Oh, I'm getting off.
you're
Oh,
probably getting off.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like he probably just gives you a look. Just like a stern, like, really, man?
Yeah.
It's like it's pack coils, kind of like that.
So you guys, and again, Delb said it before we were live here, but we didn't look at Tino's notes, so he might be upset that I'm asking you this. But you guys in Sask, you kind of mentioned they do a good job, like giving you guys a system defensively and has helped you. You guys were not very good last year, and now you guys are very, very good. Like, what happened?
I mean, I think it's a snowball of different things, right? Like, I think we were starting to trend in the right direction late in the season, and we kind of figured it out a little bit. Obviously, Matt Hossack has been a phenomenal addition, and then Shanksy too on the O gate have helped us a lot. But I think
JT
Nasso getting us the ball a lot has helped a lot too. I mean, there's a bunch of different little pieces that have really propelled us. But I think it was last year kind of going through some of those speed bumps and some of those tough times, and then starting to hit our stride a little bit later in the season where we had a 1-goal game against Toronto that could have put us in the playoffs. We beat San Diego late in the season, and we were going in the right direction. I think we carried a lot of that momentum and just started sailing with it at the start of this season. And Frankie's been phenomenal.
Legit.
Phenomenal.
Last year was the year when Derek Keenan came down like halfway through the year, correct?
Yeah.
And then this year he's been full time, like splitting time on the bench with Jimmy Quinlan.
Yeah.
What like did anything major change in the room or on the bench when he did come down halfway through through last year?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like his presence in general, like he's a very calming presence on the bench. Jimmy is very, very emotional. He's an unbelievable coach. Like I would run through a wall for Jimmy Quinlan. Him on the bench with Derek being there to kind of bounce back and forth and be a guy that you can talk to about plays that happen right away is insanely valuable. And it's a lot of them bouncing stuff off of each other during the game and in the dressing room. And we call him the Sage, so he gives us a lot of wise advice during the speeches in the dressing room. So they've been phenomenal on the bench for us and just keeping everybody even keel and never being too high, never being too low, all those cliche sayings, you know.
I will also say, like, part of the, like, from an outsider's perspective, part of the learning curve from last year, like, you guys were in so many 1-goal losses, and it feels like this year it's been the opposite. Like, is there honestly something to say about that learning curve of being in those games but coming out on the wrong side, and then comparing it to this year where you're still in those close games but you're coming out on the right side of it now?
For sure. I think like one of the things for us is our work ethic is like insanely high all game. We never take our foot off the gas. We've had a couple tough ones recently. Obviously last week was not an easy one for us, but it wasn't necessarily that we weren't working hard and we were getting outworked. Like we were still grinding and still working the ball. Just weren't getting the bounces and stuff like that. But
they couldn't tell. They couldn't tell who was on whose team because they were both wearing
so much green.
That was
Yeah, that
ridiculous.
was
insane.
when they came out in warm-ups and I looked over, I was like,
the
do they know
using
what color we
excuse,
were?
though. Using excuses.
Keegan's
guys.
like celebrating the goal. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's the other team.
No, trust me, we knew when they scored with those fireworks going off. 17 of those was not fun.
They've got a
Yeah.
good goal song.
They got a great
Halifax.
the Irish
Is it a
Irish
sail
tune.
away song?
Yeah.
Or it's like a what's
St. Patty's Day today
Sail
too, boys.
away.
Happy St.
I'm gonna
Patty's Day.
sail away. Yeah, that one.
Oh, you almost know the words.
I don't know the words.
I don't think the guy who's singing it knows.
Yeah.
It's just like a little mumbling. Everyone just dancing.
That was a tough game for the colorblind.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a really tough one.
That would have been
Yeah, bad game to be a dog.
We touched on it earlier, maybe episode 3 or something, maybe with Curtis. We talked about it with Curtis, that Sask's attendance has gone down over the years. Like early in my career, it was a packed house. And then when you would go out after the games, like the people in the city would like know, they would like recognize you and be like, oh, like, hey, Tyler, hey, Christian, like, how are you guys doing? Or like, suck it, suck it, guys. It's like, all right, man, like, relax. One, like, what's going on with the attendance? What do you think? And then 2, like, are you guys still getting that sort of in the city treatment where people recognize you guys?
Yeah, we are. Like, that was one of the things that, like, being in Vancouver to start my career never happened. Like, I never got recognized being a pro lacrosse player in Vancouver, but other than maybe this guy. But
It's like Tyler walking through with the Entourage video, with the hood on.
but in Sask the other day, even for me, like, I'm not a big name player on that team by any stretch of the means, but I was in lids walking around the mall, and I was wearing a Rush hoodie, and the guy working at the counter was like, "Oh, are you a big Rush fan?" And I was like, I guess so. Yeah, kind of. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I play for the team." And he's like, "No way." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bro, do you mind if we get a picture?"
I said, "Are you Mike Trio?"
You want a
I
free
was like,
hat?
yeah, pretty much. That's probably. I didn't obviously. I was like, "Yeah, man. If you want to, if you want to take a picture." So he got his coworker to take a picture of me, like standing at lids shopping. I'm like,
No way.
"This is where you feel like it's."
He's like,
a
free hot
pro
dogs for
game.
life.
Yeah.
No drinks, though.
That'd be
No
unreal.
drinks.
No drinks. No drinks. Drinks are too much. But yeah, it is
awesome.
still happening, which is
Cool.
cool. But as far as like getting people in the building, like I'm not.
Yeah, you gotta
Too
go
sure.
door knocking or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we got to go hand out flyers or what, but I mean the product on the floor right now for us is
good.
Is
Good
really
product.
good. So
Hard not to get behind that.
yeah, I mean it's pretty cold. Maybe they're
They
it's
don't
hard
want
to-
to come
it's hard to
inside.
drive.
They don't want to
Yeah.
come inside.
hard to drive there sometimes. I don't
It's
know.
cold. Everyone's outside.
The bar that we go to is like 50 steps from the hotel that we stay at in Sask. Maybe my first or second year there, it was negative 52 degrees outside. It was like we taxied to the bar.
Oh, buddy, I've Ubered
real
multiple times to go out to that bar.
Yeah.
100%.
Me and Mike Carnegie the one year were like, "Oh, let's walk to Tim Hortons, grab a coffee." By the time you're back, your coffee was an iced coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Frozen.
It's like we're just not built for that. Like I always joke that like a homeless person in Sask, like if they want their my wallet, you can take it. You're tougher than me. Like if you're living out in that, like I don't have the grit to compete with you, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've been down some recently, some just like wild lacrosse YouTube rabbit holes. And today I was just rewatching the Sask championship when Jeff Cornwall scores the game winner with like 12 seconds left. Like I never got to experience, like I wasn't really watching the NLL as closely as I do now in that era. So I didn't really get to see it live when it happened. But like the NLL needs Sask to get back to that. I think the league is in such a better place when that environment looks like that, because it was obviously not as big of an arena as your Buffalo or Colorado, but that environment looked just as crazy, I would say.
Yeah, I mean it's still like, even though we're not getting the 13,000 that used to pack that place, it's still, I think we're getting 9 or 10 still, somewhere around there. And it's so loud in that building. Like when we score, when somebody lays a big hit or anything like that, like it's still super, super loud, especially when we're getting into the stretch near the fourth quarter and stuff like that. Like it's a loud building to play in. It's a really fun building to play in. But yeah, it'd be nice to get back to the bigger numbers there. But either way, the fans in Saskatchewan are absolutely phenomenal, first class.
I want to go back to like you mentioned a few minutes ago your early days in Vancouver, and I want to start there a little bit because off air you told us that you have this incredible draft story.
I don't know about incredible draft story. It wasn't fun for me. It wasn't fun for me. I'll tell you.
Okay, well we'll let the listeners decide. Do tell.
So basically, leading into the draft, I was all over the Stamps draft list and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm like looking around, seeing where I was projected, the inside Lacrosse, all that kind of stuff. And it was like I was kind of projected in the like late first, second round kind of deal. So I was pretty excited about it. And then I remember getting a message, a DM on Instagram from the NLL account. And like they followed me and sent me a message and was like, hey, you're one of our top draft picks. Like, would you want to come down to Philadelphia? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. Like, is there any like help with getting down there? And they're like, no. So our draft was in Philly. So I was talking to my parents about it. And my dad was like, man, he's like, you've been working at this your whole life. Like my dad coached me since I was 4 years old. He's like, we got to go. Like, this is, you're only going to get drafted once. We got to go. So kind of coordinate with my buddy Rylan Reese. We grew up together. So we were both getting drafted. So we decided to go down. We go down to the draft, go to a Flyers game, go to a Philadelphia Phillies game, have an absolute time there, and then we go to the draft day. And draft day, they were like, yeah, show up at like 5 o'clock and come get settled in. We'll tell you what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. So everything happens. Rylan gets picked second overall. And I'm like, I'm obviously ecstatic for Rylan. I'm like, okay, like obviously not between 1 and 10, I'm getting drafted here, but a little bit later.
Maybe
like,
11. Maybe 11.
Hey, 11's a bit of a stretch, but I wasn't even expecting the first round. I was like, all those draft things I was reading into so much that I was like, okay, second round, got to be. So first round goes by. I'm like, okay, not a big deal, whatever. Second round starts going, and I'm seeing some of the places that I was projected to go, some of the teams I was projected to go to. My name wasn't getting called. I was like, okay, whatever. We go to the third round, and now Rylan's mom's been celebrating her son getting drafted second overall, which is completely fair. So every draft pick from like round 3 to like round 5 was like, oh, Keeg, this is it. I can feel it. And then it was like nothing. And then
it hit though.
Keeg, this is it.
It finally hit.
And
I told you.
I was like, Stace, like we gotta, like I can't keep doing this, man. So I was like scared to go to the bathroom even because I was like, I gotta be going here, man. So eventually Vancouver's pick comes up in like the 4th round. And I was like, okay, this would be perfect. Like, this has got to be it. And they passed on me and took Derek Lloyd. So I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So then it keeps going. I got picked in the 5th round, 67th overall, finally got drafted. And I was like, oh my God, to Vancouver. Best moment. I'm like, freaking rights. Like I got in. Like I'm in the league. Like,
he's like sprinting up to the stage.
Yeah. My dad's like chip in a chair. You just need a chip in a chair and you got a chance, right? Awesome. So I'm all fired up. So I walk out to the stage. There's like 3 guys left in the draft room, and one of them is Johnny Hosseth. So I go through. Like Johnny gives me a big hug, tells me congratulations. I give everybody at the table a hug. I go out. I go to walk out to meet the commissioner, and he's not there. And it's just like the stage is just wide open. And I'm kind of like pump faking a little bit. I'm like, do I still go? Like, or do I just peel back here? So I start walking across, and I'm like looking for the guy that's supposed to, he wasn't even the commissioner. Like the commissioner left after the first round. So somebody else that's involved in the league.
The intern was
so
up
I
there.
see him like get whacked, and he's like, hey, the guy's here. Like, you got to go. So he runs up on the stage, shakes my hand. And he's like, okay. He's like, let's get a picture. I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm like, where's the camera guy? And he's like, oh, he's right there. And then he's like, oh, actually, he's eating right now.
Hammering a Philly cheesesteak.
I hear him like yelling at the camera guy, and the camera guy is like face deep in a burger. So I got to wait for the camera guy to put his burger down, like wipe his hands so he doesn't get his camera all messed up. Finally comes, takes a picture, and then I got to go down and get a jersey from the Warriors and talk to Dan Richardson and Chris Gill. And after that, it was good. But that initial part where it was like nobody was there, nobody knew that anyone was still at the draft, like hanging out. So that's a draft story. That's the draft story.
Keegan's also been traded for some of the best players
Oh, okay.
in the world. That's a joke.
Kinda.
But in all
You
seriousness,
got to finish. Nobody knows.
So
I've been traded for
yeah,
Tyler Pace and Del Bianco
yeah.
in the WLA.
and
What
I
a
was
world
kind
that
of like
is,
thinking
eh?
that on the way
Now
here.
one of them's my boss.
The best part of this whole thing is both times he was telling me he went from the first place team in the league to the last place team in the league.
Both times.
I would argue that he kind of became your boss when you got traded for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Look
like
at I am
4
the
years
captain
ago.
now. I am the captain now.
So I was his daddy.
Okay, well, like fast forward to present day, and obviously we've already talked about you being with Sask, but last year you got into the lineup against Vancouver, and you end up scoring your first career goal. And I don't know if yeah, you got 2 that game, yeah.
2-time.
I was attending that game as a fan, and I was in like a Keegan Bell fan section. I swear to God, there was people sitting directly in front of me that were ecstatic when you scored that first goal. I don't know if if you had necessarily any hard feelings towards your former organization, or if there was just motivation in general to score against your former team. But like, talk us through the emotions of A, playing in that game, and then B, getting your first career goal at home in front of friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when you're kind of passed on, moved on to a different organization. You're going to kind of want to play a little bit extra and get something exciting like that to happen, especially like you said, in front of friends and family. Going into the game, like, it was pretty cool. Jamie over there was I did it again.
Yeah.
Jamie over there was filming some stuff for me, and then came to the game, and it was pretty cool actually. We were at the box, and we were filming some video for me being a trainer and stuff like that, and I was like, I just want to do a couple of these shots. Like, I have a feeling like, something's going to happen like this, and I'm going to take this shot. And I ended up scoring my second goal on the exact shot that we filmed and worked on. So it was pretty cool to like have him behind the camera, being able to film for me, especially going to college together and stuff like that, and having this long journey, and then getting to go into the game and play. Yeah, with everybody there, like, pretty cool to hear there was a bit of a Keegan Bell fan section. That doesn't get said every day, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I had a lot of friends and family there. It was kind of like, I think it was my third. I only played one game in Vancouver, as a Vancouver Warrior. So that was like my second game in that building that I played in, and I had pretty much everybody there. So being able to get that first one was, I mean, one of the coolest feelings on the planet. Like, it was awesome. After I scored my first goal, I kind of creased over on Boldy. It was in transition, put it far side, and I got up and just started screaming. And as I was like turning around to like go celebrate with some teammates, like, my girlfriend was right on the glass wearing my Saskatchewan Rush jersey, and I saw her standing there like screaming, like jumping on the boards. That was pretty cool. And then like everyone's coming to give me a hug, and Churchy comes and gives me a hug, and Churchy was mic'd up for it. It was pretty funny. And I was like, Churchy, get that ball. And he's like, why?
He's like, you don't just do this all the time?
He's like, what do you want that ball
That's
for?
not hard.
I'm like, Churchy, that's my first goal. And he's like, what? Really? I'm like, don't argue with me, man. Just get the ball for me, please. So that was pretty awesome too, being able to have.
You
that.
gotta think too. The second time crossing center, there's not a chance you weren't shooting it.
Douse.
Just all time high.
Like, pretty much every time I cross center, I'm like, I'm probably I could probably find a way to shoot this. But that one was like 100%. Right when I crossed center, I was like, I'm going to the rack here. Like, I'm going to the rack. I'm so hot right now. Like,
so hot.
I got one-on-one
to
shot. I'm
stay
like, I'm
hot.
going. Yeah, that one was one was pretty cool.
Oh, guy came out of you again there.
Oh yeah, I was like, immediately cross center. I looked up, saw somebody coming out of the gate, and I was like, yeah, I could maybe get there. Yeah. I get on my horse a little. I could maybe get that one off. So that was awesome too. Getting 2 was unbelievable. And then we had a penalty shot late in the game, and I'm gassed at this point. Like, I
But he's like, hey, Quinlan.
No.
I've never had a career hat trick.
No. Just
Put me
wait.
in, coach.
Hometown
Put me
hat
in.
trick.
No. I was I rolled my ankle on that second goal. Like, after the guy hit me after I shot, I rolled my ankle. So I was like,
That's why they didn't send you.
pretty limited. And then the penalty shot happens, and I hear Churchy out the front be like, give it to Bell. Like, give it to Bell. And now, like, my heart's going like 200 miles an hour. I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to give me a penalty shot in front of all these people, are they? Like, I don't think I got 3 for 3 in me.
Yeah.
So they were talking about it, and then Jimmy actually did come up to me after, and he was like, hey, like, we got to get some old guys going here. Like, I know, like, he's like, I know you wanted to take it. And I was like, no, I'm
my ankle's
good, man.
hurting.
I
My
totally
ankle's
get it.
hurting.
Yeah.
Instead, Churchy jogged down at 3/4 speed and just shelved
tucked
one.
Yeah.
Just said, thanks for coming, folks.
Yeah.
He's like, Bellard, get me that ball, buddy.
Yeah. He
It's
actually,
only my 7th career penalty shot.
it was pretty funny. Like, after the second one, he came out, he was off the bench. And he came up and he hugged me. He's like, you want me to get that one for you too? I was like, that one's good. I'm good with that one. But the first one, I wanted the first one. The second one's good.
Just an all-time move for the person scoring the first goal to have to ask a teammate to go and get the ball. For
Yeah.
him.
And then I got fined in court for getting my own first goal ball.
Yeah.
I was trying to argue that one, but there was no winning
That might be my favorite in practice. Like when a young guy starts like fist pumping after a goal or something, I throw the ball at him. They're like, what? So I just wanted to know if you wanted that. Like,
for those of you, or for anybody listening that also hadn't heard this story before, earlier this season, you found yourself in a position where you had to suit up in a different position. You had to play the role of backup goaltender for a game for the Rush. From what I understand, like I'll let you tell the story, obviously, but from what I understand, there was some weird rule with having to get a backup goaltender because like Frank was out expecting his the birth of his child, so Thomas Kajzik was getting the start, and they had a hard time getting a backup. So go into like what the situation was there and how the decision came to you suiting up. So
we actually did have a third goalie there. So we had Lane at practice.
paperwork issue.
We weren't sure if Frankie was going to be able to make it to the game. So there was a chance that Frankie was going to be able to fly out and come and play. So we basically waited on the putting in our roster and signing Lane. And then it was like after shoot around, I'm sitting in the locker room, like getting changed and hanging out with the guys. And Derek Keenan walks in and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, Beller, can I talk to you in the hallway?" And I'm like, "Oh my God.
Am I getting the penalty shot?"
No. I'm like, I just got traded. Like, I just got traded to Albany. I'm going to have to go walk across the street and go suit up over there. So I was freaking out. And then he looks at me and he starts smiling. He's like, "You're going to love this." He's like, I need you to play backup goalie now." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, you're joking." He's like, "No, seriously. Like, things got messed up with the roster." And he's like, "You're the only guy that's active that can suit up." And he's like, "You can suit up in your player gear, but you can't go on the floor at all. So you just have to sit on the end of the bench." Or he's like, "Or you can play backup." He's like, "You don't have to take warm-ups or anything like that." And I was like, "Fuck that." I was like, if I'm going to play this role, like I'm going to get into it.
There's only so many chances you're going to get.
Yeah, I'm like, this is crazy. Like I was laughing the whole time. So immediately once he tells me that, I go straight to our equipment guy. And I'm like, "Hey, I don't know if you heard." And he's like, "I know." He's like,
he knew
"I got
3
extra
hours
gear
ago.
right." Yeah, he's like, "I got extra gear right here." So I start getting dressed in the gear, and like all the boys were told, but I was out in the hallway trying on all the gear, and I'm getting some help from Lane trying to like I've never put on goalie gear before. Like it was like mini tight the last time that I put goalie pads on. So I get all the gear on, and I come in the locker room, and all the boys are sitting in the locker room, and everyone just starts going crazy, just starts howling. They're like, "Let's see your stance. Let's see your stance." So I'm playing
hockey.
the part. Yeah, I'm messing around, and then I look at Mark, our equipment guy, and I'm like, I'm not going to wear my player helmet, am I? I'm like, I didn't even think about that, right? And I'm like, I don't really want to put on Lane's sweaty helmet from that he's played 2 years in.
Not a chance.
So he brings me over to the Blades locker room, and the Saskatoon Blades equipment guy was there, and we were like, "Hey, you got a helmet and a goalie jock?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I do." So I got a brand new goalie helmet. So I got to strap on, and I stayed.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I stayed after shoot around, took a couple shots from the coaching staff because I was like, if I'm gonna give the guys some shots in warm up, like I don't want it's Tommy's first game. I can't let him go in there take 150 shots in warm up, and I'm just hanging out. So took a couple shots from them, figured some stuff out, and then immediately, right when I got to the rink, I threw the pads on as quick as possible because I was like, all the boys were so fired up about it. We were laughing, and I was like, fellas, like, I'm not that bad. Like, I'm not good, but I'm not that bad.
One of the best parts of this is I heard you talking on another interview, like, Kaisak had like a bit of a slow start, and like he's on the bench thinking like there's actually a chance they're gonna put them in. Like it's like, man.
So that was
like he could let in 40 goals they weren't putting you in.
I got fined in court for that too. So basically, we go down 4 goals on 5 shots, like fast, and there was we challenged the 4th goal. So Tommy's at the bench, and I'm trying to like talk to him, calm down. Mind you, I'm mic'd up this whole time. Right? They immediately were like, "Hey, we're gonna throw a mic on you." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, par for the course.
Probably, yeah, that sounds good. So I'm trying to like talk to him, but I'm like, how am I going to talk to this guy and give him any advice? Like, I don't even know. I can't even take my uppers off because I don't know how to get them back on. Like my buddy texted me at the half, and he's like, "Bell, take your gear off, man." He's like, "You don't have to sit there in your gear the whole game."
Do you have to have your uppers on the bench and then all?
I don't know. Yeah. You should know.
I literally don't know, actually.
That's pretty impressive that you're a goalie and you don't know.
Yeah.
Not a backup.
But so at that challenge on the goal, my legs were killing me. Like my legs were so sore from being in a squat all like during warm up, and I was going out there shooting for an hour after shoot around, just trying to figure it out. So my legs were killing me. So I'm sitting on the bench, and like we had that like long break. So I'm sitting there and I'm stretching a little bit and like trying to like loosen my hips up. And I don't know why, but I turned and looked, and Jimmy was looking at me like stretching. And I'm like, oh shit.
He just gave you the shake.
Yeah,
like,
shit.
What are you doing?
I did ask Lane at one point, because Lane ran the gate. Because Derek was like,
would even let him run the gate.
No chance. I asked Derek, I'm like, can I run the gate? He's like,
no.
Well, let's just see how we do. We're gonna get Lane with a golf shirt on the gate. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair. So I did ask Lane at one point. I was like, there was a couple quick ones, and I looked at him. I was like, they wouldn't. And he's like, shut up, sit the fuck down. He's like, sit down. They're
Get
not
back
putting.
there,
I'm like,
man.
yeah, okay,
Back in the tunnel.
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was it was an absolute experience. Way more respect. The next week at practice, didn't shoot a ball high.
Yeah, coming from
The
you.
second week-
just shoots the ball as hard as you can.
Second week, I was hammering the ball again. Yeah, all bets were off.
Yeah, forgot.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, because the thing that I had heard was that you had some previous goaltending experience like years ago. So you literally hadn't put them on since mini tyke.
No, the only time that I ever put gear on was Brody McDonald was living at my house because we're related. So when he was down here for his junior A and some of the WLA and stuff like that, I'd ask Bro to go shoot, and he'd be like, "Yeah," bring his gear with him, and I'm like, "Oh, sweet, I get to shoot on Brody today." And then he'd drop his bag, open it up, and he'd be like, "Okay, suit up." Like, what? Like, no. So I'd be in net for like 2 minutes, and he'd wire one at me, and I'm like, yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. That's the only time I've ever put on gear other than mini tyke.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story.
That is good.
What a league.
What a league. That's what I was thinking too. I got to keep the jersey too, which was pretty sweet.
That's pretty awesome.
So I got the jersey.
That's a fun one.
the jersey at my house too. So
Yeah, I remember in that mic'd up segment, I think after the game you were like asking, you were going to get guys to sign the jersey for you or something like that.
I was thinking about it, but yeah, the Rush like wanted the jersey back. So when I got back into the locker room, Mark gave me the jersey and he's like, "Put it in your bag." So I was like, okay. So I shoved it in my bag. I was like, it's a pretty cool one to have. So now I got a jersey from when I played O in Vancouver, jersey from D in Saskatchewan last year, and now I got one from as a goalie.
Yeah.
Not really. I didn't play in the game, obviously, but
Still counts.
yeah.
Still counts. I want to ask you about because I feel like with you being in being a coach here with Pro Caliber, I feel like you have a bit of a unique perspective to be able to add to some of the kids you coach because and this is probably going to sound like I'm taking a shot at you. I swear to God, I'm not meaning for it to come across like that.
Well,
but
we'll see. We'll see in a second.
Yeah, we'll see. All the coaches here are like you have Tyler Pace, you have Del Bianco, you have Connor Robinson, you have these guys that are starting in every single game, and then you are a guy that's kind of battling in and out, like to get in and out of the lineup here and there kind of thing. And I would imagine that you have a different insight to be able to offer to some of these kids that, you know, maybe struggling to make an A team or maybe like just struggling to take that extra step, and you can sort of offer a bit of insight as to your experience with that. Like, have you been able to tie any of that, of your experience, into you coaching here at PCL as well?
Yeah, I think for sure. There's a lot of, like, I watch a lot of lacrosse games. Like, let's just be honest about it. I watch a lot of NLL lacrosse games. There's a lot to be said for watching a game versus playing in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you see a lot more. So turning my brain into that coach aspect and being able to talk to the kids about it. Like, I was training a guy today that's more of an offensive player, right? So there's maybe a couple things that are different about maybe what I thought worked for me, but I just didn't have that extra little bit, where now I can kind of take that and turn it into a coaching role and be like, hey, this used to work really good for me, but this is why it didn't work at this level, right? And this is why I maybe had to switch roles a little bit, or maybe this is why I didn't get that extra step, right? Is like kind of what I said to Pace when we were interviewing, and he was asking, or we were talking about bringing me over. It was like, I want every kid that I train to be better than I am. Like, I don't want everyone to have to go through, you know, getting healthy scratched a lot or being on the practice roster and all that kind of stuff. Every kid that I coach, I want to be able to try and get them even better than where I am. And hopefully some of the experiences that I've been through, whether that was it going through midget and not making Team BC and all that kind of stuff, and then finally getting into the NLL and still just like battling every single practice, every single tryout, you know, trying to stay in the lineup. I think I might have maybe a different view than obviously some of these guys might have, just because I'm going through a bit of a tougher career than, let's say, some of these guys. But I think at the same time, being able to get a coach like Pace and Delbs and C-Rob and Dixon and Dobie is like we didn't have that kind of stuff when we were kids, and I think it's so valuable.
And the kids friggin' love Keegan. Love him. Like, anytime that we like give him a shift where he's doing a shooting lesson or a strength and conditioning session, chances are that after that session, like one or two kids is like, hey, how do I sign up for private stuff with Keegan? Like, they just want to be around him more. So he's got a very positive attitude towards the whole thing, and obviously he knows what he's talking about enough to where like the kids feel comfortable and they want to learn from him. So it's, like I said at the beginning, it's a huge addition to what we've got going on here for sure.
Yeah, I feel like anybody that I've ever heard talk about you, like the first thing is like the best teammate, like the ultimate teammate. Like I don't think that there's, in my experience, I haven't met anybody that doesn't have glowing things to say about you as a teammate or as a person.
I mean, that's a very nice thing for you to say. I really appreciate that. I mean, there comes a point where, you know, if you're not playing every single game, you got to be one of the best team guys to be realistic. Like, if you're a good team guy, you're going to hang around a lot longer than a guy who's sour about not playing every week and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, sometimes you do have to kind of change your role a little bit, and you got to be the beer guy after the game, handing out beers and toss them around, and kind of take a role where, even though every single time I get scratched or every single time I get put on the practice roster, I am absolutely devastated, but I'm not going to let that show to my teammates, and I'm going to make sure that they know I got their back with anything that could possibly happen. And I think that's part of why I've kind of hung on to the league for a while, is trying to be as good of a team guy in the locker room as possible. And I think everyone has to have a little piece of that. But those are nice words. I
That's awesome.
that.
Delbs, you could learn a thing or two from that.
No kidding. No kidding. You see the Glaze Fest that was going on
all week
in the
long.
Warriors game? It was insane.
Yeah, that was a bit much. I agree.
Okay, I want to ask you about. Well, okay, I told you about this before, but I found an interview from you. Do you guys have anything to chime in with here? Like, I
think this has been great.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, it's
Well,
good,
you were
though.
the person that
like
we're
it.
interviewing.
That's like one of our big
I mean, I know,
concerns.
but I've watched the other pods, and
We
I'm
had-
like, I don't know if everyone else was going on.
We had Curtis Dixon on, and we just talked to ourselves for an hour and a half.
Hey, you might have to have
Hey.
to stay close to that sound button. If I start going on too long, just play the Grammy music, get me off the stage.
Since he mentioned his draft story and the camera guy eating the burger, I was thinking about this the whole time. I just learned that Whataburger is the only fast food place that starts with a W.
I don't know how to respond.
I
to
fell
that.
for one of these earlier. I'm not doing it again.
Oh, I almost fell for it then.
I'm not doing it again.
I
God
legitimately.
damn it,
I'm not
Keegan.
doing it again.
What's
Well,
the other
you
one?
got me once already. I can't be that
Do you know
gullible.
what the other one is, though?
No, I'm not doing that, Delbs.
Do you know what the other one is?
I'm not. No, I won't. I won't.
Forget it. Cut
If
this
you
bit
hadn't
out.
said that, I was absolutely falling.
Okay, well,
for
that's
that.
my bad.
You know what's
Yeah,
a better
it is.
setup? You know what's a better setup is you go like, okay, like Arby's or A&W. They say A&W, right? You say, oh, A&W's or Burger King, right? They say Burger King. And then you go like, oh, Burger King or Wendy's. And then they say Wendy's. And then you say, Wendy's nuts hit you in the
Delbs,
face.
I have to tell you this, no word of a lie. All week, I've been thinking about how to set you up with a Wendy's one. Legitimately, like since the last time I saw you,
And
I've
I
been
almost
like,
got him.
I'm gonna get him with
almost
one.
got
Yeah.
him.
God damn it.
Yeah, but we got Keegan over here with a Candace.
Snitch. Yeah. We did get Candace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, you were gonna tell a story about the girls, though. Actually,
Oh. Yeah. This one's good for Delbs. I had to tell him right away. So
Yeah, he was so pumped to
So
come
I
over
was
to me.
training. I was training a group of girls, and Delbs was in the cage working with the goalies. And we're working out over here, and one of the girls looks at me and she's like, "Is that Christian Del Bianco?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And she's like, "He doesn't look that fat. He's not that fat."
So
and I was
good.
like, I don't know. And she's like, "No, seriously, he doesn't look that fat." He's like, I'm like, I think it's a good shirt. Like, I think it's a
That's
good shirt.
Good day.
She,
double XL hoodie.
Yeah,
like,
it was
"No,
a
he's
long
not
work
that
day.
fat."
Didn't get home for dinner.
Yeah.
I told Delbs right away. He's like,
Yeah.
"That's gold."
Yeah, I
was like,
said that's just. But you know what? Like 208 this weekend. Weighed in almost the light heavyweight limit.
It's not bad. 208's not bad. Yeah.
Not bad.
That's fighting shape for me.
Yeah.
It's pretty good that Tyler, your goal with the podcast in the original or in the early days of this was to get people to start calling Delbs the fat man.
The fat man,
and now
yeah.
there's people here working at the gym
Yeah.
Like, wait,
commenting.
he's not that fat.
Well, even like at Warriors Media,
good.
like we were doing a media thing, and they had a jersey, and it was a goalie jersey. And Jumbo's like, "Hey, can you put that on?" I was like, "Jumbo, if I put on this oversized jersey, I'm never beating the fat allegations." Like, not a-
Allegations.
sorry, yeah, and butchers it. But yeah,
That's so funny. Okay, Keegan, I was telling you earlier, I found when I was doing some prep for this interview, I found an old kind of Q&A interview that you had done from your college days, and I wanted to go through some of these questions with you. It's sort of just rapid fire, and I want to see if you remember what you said back then and if the answer still remains the same.
Do we know when this was? College? When? Like, what years were you in college?
Well, I can tell you.
2015 to 2019.
So apologies if I'm butchering the name of this. Tusculum Athletics.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, Tusculum.
what was
Okay.
the mascot?
Pioneers.
Pio till
Me
I
and
die,
Pace.
baby.
Me, Pace, and Jamie over there, all Pios. Just a little bit,
So
little bit
you
different.
Too. You're a Pio.
Yeah,
Pie ball.
not a pile.
Only guy in the room.
Okay. I'm feeling cornered.
He gave him so much excitement. He thought he was in on one.
I actually,
Applause.
I knew that Jamie over here was going to be brought up a bunch in this because obviously, like, you guys grew up playing together and stuff. So I actually looked up his junior A stats as well. Not a bad player.
He was a good player.
Yeah, in his final year of junior, 44 points in 19 games.
You want to come have a seat and join the interview or what?
Name's Ty.
Name Ty.
Yeah, everyone's looking for this Jamie's career stats.
Yeah.
But Keegan, your junior number is 163 points in 58 games played. Pretty
guy.
pretty
Oh,
good.
guy.
Hanging around, not bad.
Pretty good. Okay, so the first question here: future plans. What do you think you said?
E-bug.
I don't know. Yeah. did I say play like hopefully playing in the NLL?
More or less. You said get a job and keep playing lacrosse until your body doesn't let you.
That sounds
On track.
Kind of like
Yeah.
what's going on right now.
His success.
I thought, yeah.
Favorite book?
I don't read.
Well,
Oh,
dictionary.
I think I might have said it was the only book that I read at the time. Mind Gym. Is that what I said?
that's correct.
It's
Mind
still
Gym.
the only book I
The
read.
Secret to Financial Freedom.
It's
or
actually
what?
a good one. You guys should look it up. It's a sports psych book.
Favorite midnight snack?
Oreos.
Correct.
Still is, man.
Nothing's
Actually,
changed.
that was a Jamie move over there. We were roommates, and we would buy
Oh, they
the
were
double stuffed
roommates.
Oreos from Walmart, and we'd put them in the freezer. And they were little ice cream sandwiches.
That's actually a nice play.
Dude,
It's
I'm
a nice
telling you,
little treat.
I'm telling you. When you get the birthday cake ones and the mint chocolate ones, and you start expanding a little bit, it was unbelievable.
I'm not a mint chocolate guy.
Yeah.
We sound like the MD foodie boys.
That's what everyone roasts us and calls
Never had
us.
celery before. Favorite musical artist?
I probably said something Canadian.
You
Probably
did?
Drake.
Yes.
And was there another one?
No, you just said Drake.
Okay.
But the next question was favorite song, and it's not a Drake song.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Love Yourself. So I have to assume that's the
Oh,
Justin
that's a
Bieber
Justin
song.
Bieber. Yeah, that's okay. I remember doing that because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll be patriotic. Yeah, brutal.
That kind of
Looks
tells
bad
you.
now.
That kind of tells you like what era we were in. With
Yeah, yeah.
Love Yourself was like
Yeah.
the hot song.
Yeah.
Can't go a week without
Oreos.
Oh, probably Oreos. Yeah.
your lacrosse stick.
Oh, that's just
Hardo.
That's such a hardo
Yeah.
answer.
Coach's pet.
Well, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, actually, that's a good segue into this next question because you answered this next question and then you had like a ... answer afterwards to try to get back on the coach's good side. Favorite food?
Wendy's.
Oh, I probably said Taco Bell.
No, you said cookies and junk food, and then it goes ... I mean protein bars, right, Coach?
Oh, that's a funny guy. Locker room guy right from the start. Come on.
Cringe.
People you admire. There's two of them.
Tyler Pace, Christian Del Bianco.
My boss.
My boss.
I think I probably said Dwayne Johnson.
Yep, that's one.
I thought
Okay,
it was gonna be
first
like-
of all,
I thought it was
no.
your dad or
I
something.
think the second one was my dad. Did I
Yeah.
say that?
No,
The Rock.
unless
Sorry, Bob.
Unless,
Sorry,
unless
Dad.
you have a crazy, unless,
Sorry, Dad.
unless Michael
Rock.
Jordan is your dad.
No, yeah. Okay,
The Rock and Michael Jordan.
yeah. But in all fairness,
Yeah, that's so good.
me and Jamie used to, or at least me, I used to make sure WWE was on every night. I hammered WWE in college. Loved it. Me and Deep Fryer related well when we were playing together in Vancouver. I was back on the WWE grind for a little bit.
Okay, and the last one. When people first meet Keegan, they think
What a great guy. I have
Tino
no
says.
idea. Yeah.
this kid is tall and acts like he's 6.
That's still,
Yeah.
thumbs up over there from Jamie.
Yeah, Tigers.
All right. Yeah, that's everything I got in the notes specifically for you, Keegan. Unless you guys got something else. Like, there's some more stuff from the league that we can get into here. But do you guys have anything else specifically for Keegan?
I heard a little birdie tell me that you once got jumped in college.
Yes.
You want to get into that story?
Yeah, I can tell that story. So that was I have this, I guess, superstition or ritual that I called my dad before every college game. Like I said, my dad, he coached me from when I was 4 years old to 20, basically, and then coached against me for a while. So I would call my dad before every game. So it was my sophomore year, I think it was, because you were still there. So we had a pretty sick setup in the apartment. We had Rock Band. So Rock Band was a big hit in the apartment. So
Big.
we had. You got something? You looked excited.
You want to go play Rock Band and eat Oreos later?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So we had a bunch of the guys over playing Rock Band, and I went out to give my dad a call like I usually did. These two guys came up to me and were like, "Hey, like, where's the party?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's no party, man. Like, we got a game tomorrow. Nothing going on." They're like, "Okay." So they walk away, and this is Valentine's Day, by the way. So my dad's out for dinner with my mom. For Valentine's Day dinner, talking on the phone with me. So They go up to my room, try and get into my room, knock on the door. One of my buddies opens it up. Bunch of people in there playing Rock Band. They didn't know who they were, so they slammed the door in their face. They come back down the stairs and they come up to me and they're starting to get a little pissed off and they're like, "How do we get into that room?" I'm like,
We just want to play
"You can't."
Rock Band, man.
Well, I'm like, "You can't. There's no party going on. Like nothing's going on. I'm trying to have a conversation, guys. Like blah blah blah." So we walk away and like you guys know my dad. My dad immediately was like, "Hey, just keep your head up. Like think about what could happen. Blah blah blah." Like he's kind of preparing me for something. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like it's the safest place on the planet. So they try and go back up into my room again. Nobody answers the door when they knock. So my dad, I'm talking to him. I'm like, "Hey, these guys are like coming back down the stairs." I'm like, "They might be coming back to talk to me again." And he's like, "Well, just go up to your room." Like we had staircases that kind of crisscrossed. So they were coming down the opposite side. So I went up the near side that was right by my room. And we had this like lacrosse knock at Tusculum. It was just one hard knock, and that's how you knew it was a lacrosse player. So I do the one hard knock, probably way too loud because it obviously drew quite a bit of attention. Still on the phone with my dad. The guys don't open the door because I was standing too close to the door, so they were looking through the peephole and they just saw my shirt.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's like glued to
'Cause
that
I was
door.
trying to,
Yeah.
I was just trying to hide like off the side so that they couldn't see me. And then I get tapped on the shoulder, and I turned around and just got sucker punched. So I dropped the phone, and I just look at the guy, and he was wearing a toque and a hoodie. And the only thing that came into my head was,
Jersey him.
I'm Jersey. I swear to God. So I grabbed this guy's hood and his hoodie, and I pulled it over his head, and I got the perfect, because it was Tennessee. No one knows how to hockey fight or lacrosse fight. So I grabbed the back of his head, and I had it, and I just started throwing like 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock uppercuts. And I just started going toe-to-toe with this guy. And then his buddy that he was with comes flying over and hits me with one of the nastiest Superman punches I've ever soaked. Just boom, rocks me. So I dropped the guy that I jerseyed, and me and the other guy are now just trading, going toe-to-toe. Like I got his shirt, my shirt's ripped in half, and we're just absolutely going toe-to-toe.
And your door is still closed.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Door's
the boys
still
are
closed.
playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
I'm trying to fight two guys. Delbs, the worst part. Okay, you gotta add this song.
He was looking for a soul to steal.
The song that was playing, because I could
What
hear
a
it.
reference.
I could hear it outside the apartment. The song that was playing was Du Hast. Like, you know that like hardcore German rock? Du Hast. Like, so that's
You
going
see on
on.
Insta with the fireworks.
Yeah, so that's going on as I'm going toe-to-toe with these two guys. So next thing you know, I hear somebody open the door and they're like, "Oh shit, there's a fight outside." And then somebody pipes up and they're like, "Oh fuck, it's Keegan." So they come flying out. There's like 8 lacrosse guys coming flying out of this apartment. So the guys that I was kind of scrapping with just take off and they leave. So I turn around and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like what?
Let me in my own room.
How many fight? Like I had to fight 2 guys before you guys come out."
The Mentorios, man.
So I'm bleeding. I got blood dripping down my face. My shirt's ripped in half. So I go to walk back into my apartment and I'm like, "Oh, where's my phone?" And I look down and my phone is teetering off the 2nd floor balcony. And I grab it and pick it up and my dad's still on the phone.
No way.
So this is the best part. Like this is the best part by a landslide. I pick up the phone. I'm like, "Hey," and he's like, "How'd you do?" He's like, "How'd you do?" I'm like, "I think I did pretty good." And he's like,
Feels good.
he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." He's like, "All right, well, give those guys shit for not coming to help you." He's like, "I heard the whole thing." I'm like, "Okay." So I find out, like, I call him back later, and my mom's on the phone with me now, and obviously she's worried sick. But my mom's like, "You should have seen your dad's eyes at the dinner table. It was Valentine's Day." And he's like just staring, like he's got the scariest looking eyes, and he's just staring. So eventually, like, I call my coach because I'm like, "Hey, coach, I know there's a game tomorrow, but I just got jumped outside my apartment by 2 guys." And he's like, "Okay, you need to come to my office now." So I go down to his office, and it turns out that the 2 guys were going to other places around campus and stirring the pot. And then they found me, and I had to go and identify them to the police. So
Snitch.
I basically the police officer gives me his license and he's like, "Was this a guy?" I'm like, "I don't really know." Like once I saw him,
His toque was over his
yeah,
head.
I pulled everything over his head. So I was like, he's like, "Do you want to press charges?" I'm like, "I'm Canadian, man. Like that kind of sucks." I'm like, how did he look? Like, do you have a black eye or anything? Like, did I do okay? He's like, "Oh yeah, his nose is a little crooked." And I'm like, "All right, well then I had my guy. Like, I'm good."
Yeah, I feel better about this now.
So I'm like, "Are they gonna go to jail though? Because like they can't do that." And he's like, "Oh, they're going to jail for a while." He's like, "They got out of prison today." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "The one guy when we went to go put him in the cop car, he headbutted the cop and shattered the cop's nose." I know, this is nuts, eh? And then the cop was like, "Yeah, they had a like 3-inch pocket knife in their pocket." And we went and searched their car that they drove here in, and they had a like automatic crossbow in the back of the car.
A crossbow.
Okay, this story's getting a little outlandish now.
Ask him.
You had me until you said crossbow.
He was one of the guys that didn't open the door. He was there.
Yeah, look, he had his headset
He
on.
was there. So it ended up that I broke my hand
Oh, nice.
and then played the next day with not
That's
knowing that my
grit.
hand was
Yeah,
broken.
what a beast.
That's Tusculum grit
Yeah.
right there.
Grit, yeah. On the
2
grass
goals,
field in
2
the rain.
goals.
Telling
Did-
everybody, yeah,
Played
3-1,
offense.
3-1,
Played
3-1.
offense.
3-1.
3-1.
they pulled a crossbow on me.
No crossbow was pulled.
Was Nate
but-
Wade there at that point too?
Yeah.
Waiter, come on, man.
I know he would have done
Him
way
and that
better than I
cinder
did.
block head of his, that guy would have broke his hand.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's an all-time story.
The craziest story that I have by a landslide. It was the craziest thing that has ever happened. It'll never happen again.
I'm
It was
still
nuts.
cracking up at Baser singing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Oh, dude.
It took me like 3 minutes to
Thinking about when
get back.
we'll play Duhas at the end of this interview, and you just think about me trying to my like first ever fight.
It would be like
trying to go toe to
like,
toe with
you
two
were
guys.
probably fired up though.
I didn't know what to do. I was
Yeah.
like, I guess I'm just pulling the shirt over the guy's head. Like I had no idea. And then once I started going toe to toe with the other guy, thank God the doors opened because I was losing steam. I was a little gassed, and I was like, it would have gone south really really quick.
It's like Biz.
Yeah. You're our bitch.
The Irish Travelers.
Too bad there's not.
Gypsy's got him.
Too bad there's not like CCTV footage of this whole thing. That would blow
There
up.
was no cameras at that place. No, thank
Safest
God.
place in America.
Yeah,
I would
Well,
love
thought.
I would love the audio of that phone call though. With you and your dad. I would
Oh,
love
man.
to be able to hear what that sounded like from his perspective.
Yeah, it was the funniest though. Just how'd you do? I'm talking to you, so I think I did pretty
Well,
good.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
yeah, that was awesome.
That's
Well,
unreal.
not awesome, but
So
phone call.
you've mentioned now a couple times your dad coached you your whole life, basically going like all the way to I'm guessing junior.
Yeah.
He also coached me one year,
Yeah,
and
I was thinking about that today too.
He had he would always come out with the wooden stick, like the old wooden stick, and I'm like, man, like we don't use these anymore. Like we don't need to use this. But he's like live and die by this wooden stick. But like, what was that like having? What were the car rides home like? What is it like to have your dad be your coach for your whole life?
Yeah, I always joke about it that the best day ever was when I got my license and I could drive myself because I'd do a couple laps around Poco before I got home just to make sure he was all calm. But it was like obviously being the coach's kid is not easy, and his eyes were on me a lot more than maybe some of the other guys. But so I definitely got an earful a lot. But it got to the point where later on in intermediate and junior, like he would just look at me and I'd be like, yeah, I made a mistake. You know what I mean? Like we had such a good relationship with it that it was nice being able to be like, you know, every time we turned on a lacrosse game, it turned into like a coaching session and it turned into like a bit of a film session where we were watching stuff, right? Which I didn't really, at the time I was like, man, can we just watch this game?
Can I
Like,
just relax?
like once we got the pause and play going all the time and then we're drawing on the TV screen, my mom's sitting there, he's got pieces of paper out like scribbling. My mom's like, can we start the game? But yeah, it was definitely not the easiest, but it was, now that I think about it now, like it was the best thing ever to be able to have, you know, your backbone, the guy you look up to growing up, and he was the guy
Him
that
and
was,
The Rock.
Him and The Rock. Yeah.
Him,
Pretty much the
Dwayne, and
same.
Michael Jordan.
Same
Pretty
build.
much the same guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, having him to be able to kind of guide me through everything was was all you could ask for. Right? It was kind of weird getting coached by other people after, but yeah.
I mean, we've been going for pretty close to an hour here. I know people are going to want to hear, Delbs, quickly about how your debut. I know you said you're pretty tired of talking about yourself.
About it.
He just doesn't. Just not going to talk about it.
I mean, yeah, it was fun. I'm glad I'm through that one. There was a lot of pressure and build up. As Tyler kind of pointed out, they paraded me around town, and I'm glad I didn't lay an egg in front of everyone. But it's exciting just to kind of get back to regular life in the NLL, and being a part of a team again at that level is pretty exciting.
I was laughing. I put in the group chat, like as part of the parade of you around town, you did the interview on Sportsnet 650, and one of the questions they asked you was, do you have any previous relationship with head coach Kurt Malowski?
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
And I was like only 8 years of overlap in
No,
Calgary.
they didn't.
I was
Oh.
listening to it. I was like out for a walk, and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh my God, you like do one Google search, man. Come on.
It was amazing. We were watching with. I was watching with Eli, Salama,
Tice
Ethan
in the video.
Ticehurst, and Reese Callies. We were watching the game, and we were kind of like, "Oh, I hope to God he lets in the first one." And sure enough, Tommy Shrives stings one. And
All time.
We put the Instagram video out there. It was got a bunch of likes.
Yeah, it's okay. In all-time stat line, I have an assist before a save as a Vancouver Warrior.
Pretty unreal.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
What a way to start.
That was
To
the
Brett
assist of the
Mitski.
game. The assist of the game.
Brett Mitski.
Brett Mitski did all the work.
Mitski runs 60 yards. Handing the ball to Saquon.
Unbelievable.
You had better passes in that game as
Yeah,
well.
love
That's what I mean.
I threw into Dilksey with Dan Craig running behind him, and I was looking like I looked at T-Rex and I'm like, see, like that's an old man with a young guy.
I was laughing about it watching too because it's been a while
Yeah.
since you played a game in the NLL.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the game and I see Delbs like first quarter sprints out of his net into the corner to go get a ball. I'm like, oh, there he is. He's back. Like, of course, he's trying to get an apple off the hop, sprinting to the corner to get the ball.
It was funny. The crowd was like, that was one of the better crowds in Vancouver I've seen. And what was cool from my perspective was, like Pace, you've talked about how Vancouver sports fans are kind of fair weather fans. Like when the team is bad, regardless of what sport, when the team is bad, they don't really show up. When the team is good, like they show up in numbers. There was obviously a lot of build up for this game with it being your debut and everything. It was cool to see the fans very invested in that. When there would be a sequence of you making like 3 or 4 saves in like quick succession, there would be like cheer on the first save, louder cheer on the second save, and it kind of got louder and louder with each one. So to me, from like watching from over top, like it looked a lot like the fans were very invested, like they were paying attention all week to how big of a deal this was for the franchise and stuff.
Yeah,
And
because there was 2,000 Italians that were related to me there. That's why. It was all family members.
Did we talk about the week before Delbs being on the Jumbotron
Yeah.
for our
It's-
game? We did? Okay.
it was
'Cause
electric.
that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm sitting on the bench, getting some water, and I look up for 1 second. Delbs is smiling right in the middle of all his buddies on the Jumbotron. It was the funniest thing I've
Me
ever
and the
seen.
Grizz.
It was funny because you could see the longer you were on the Jumbotron, you could see like the realization and how like embarrassed you were. At the beginning, you're like laughing, seeing yourself on there, and then by the end of it, you're like trying to sink into your
Yeah,
shit.
it wasn't a
Oh,
quick.
boy.
It wasn't a quick
No,
glance.
they held-
Like,
they
they
held.
held it.
Somebody
up.
targeted me there.
They're like,
That's-
we're getting this guy.
That'll be
We're
taken
getting
up.
this guy. He's staying on the Jumbotron.
From what I've heard, a lot of people weren't too happy about that one, but
Yeah, I bet.
That was funny. Yeah, I mean, we've been going for about an hour, so we can wrap up pretty quick here, unless there's some more stuff you guys want to. But I do want to, before we do wrap up, I do want to get into this or mention this quickly. Rob Hellyer gets his 300th career goal. Connor Fields gets to 100 points for the 3rd straight season, and Joe Resiteris becomes the first American-born player to reach 500 assists. So some pretty cool milestones that it feels like we should definitely mention.
yeah.
Yeah, those are good milestones.
Yeah,
For sure.
thanks.
All good players.
Yeah, good players.
All good players.
Do you guys got anything else, or are we wrapping up here?
No, I think Keegan was hilarious.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Hey, if you guys want me back for part 2, I'm here a lot.
Just
Okay, so I can come back. We didn't even get into playing against Delbs my entire
yeah,
life.
let's just wait and see if we can get Challen.
Oh, yeah. Of course, there's a pecking order for sure. But, I'll just put my hat
he just
back in
wants
the ring.
to talk about his midget A1 championship over
if
us in
Tino's going to
Poco.
come on and tell me how good I am as a guy, I mean, I'll come back.
Yeah.
I could use a couple of those.
5th episode, 5th rounder. Like, it's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
how it goes. Yeah, exactly.
5th rounder, best guy.
I'll come back. I'll come back for episode 67. All right, that's 5th round 67 pick. Oh,
It's funny, like talking about going down like these lacrosse rabbit holes on YouTube. Like, what's the video I sent in the group chat
He
last
sent
week?
like a Bantam A1 game or something, or midget A1 that tournament of Colin Roby's dad used to film them of us playing minor.
yes, I remember those.
It's like Brody Gillespie
There was
in a
like-
field
yeah,
helmet busting
yeah,
around.
Yeah,
I've been watching over the past year of like doing that Coquitlam documentary with Ty. Like, I've watched so much Adnax content on YouTube that now that's the stuff that's on
That's
my
your
algorithm
algorithm.
is like 2013 midget A1 provincials, and I'm like trying to pick out like,
Oh my
who's that
God,
guy? Where's he
yeah.
now?
yeah.
So yeah, that's my YouTube rabbit hole these days.
Pacer, I'm in, by the way, for the $150 to get another war on the floor going.
It'd be sick. It'd be sick.
got- we
People
got it.
love this idea.
I know.
I think it's a great idea. I was listening to it in the car, and I'm like,
The
we could do
$150 will
that.
have to go to all the fines people are taking just to
yeah,
get a
that's
feature.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're gonna have to like solidify this because somebody's gonna take the idea from you pretty soon.
Trademark.
We got a guy
How do
right
we
there.
get a trademark
Guy's
it?
sitting right there. He can do it.
Yeah, but we need to trademark the concept.
Oh, maybe
and idea.
not. That's not a good face. Never mind.
Yeah, we. I'm gonna put some
Yeah, we'll get camcorders.
little birdies in
Put
the
some, yeah,
in
we'll
the
put some
air.
feelers out.
Put some little.
We got
birdies
Pro
out
Caliber
there.
Media now too, so
That's right.
they can do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, good to go.
Good to go.
All right. Well, Keegan, thanks for coming on. This is an awesome episode. Some all-time stories.
Thank you guys, man.
Yeah.
This was awesome. I was looking forward to this all day.
Pretty incredible.
Can't wait.
Not all day.
Almost
Not
all
all day, yeah. Just
Yeah, we told him at 5.
just since I had to cover for Pacer, and then he's like, "Hey, since you're there, come on." I was like, "Oh, I'm like the
Calm
7th guy
down.
ass right now for sure." There's
Price
no way.
is right.
Unreal. Thanks, guys. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Okay, so as mentioned at the beginning, back to our regular scheduled programming. So this will be live Friday morning. Thanks to everybody as well that's been rating the podcast on Spotify. We got a bunch of 5-star ratings, and we haven't even asked for a single
Oh,
one.
sick.
Yeah, which is
Do any
pretty
bad
sweet.
ratings?
Well, it's the average is 4.9 stars. So one person gave less than 5 stars.
How many like ratings do we have?
Last I looked, it was like 26.
Oh,
And haven't asked for a single one.
Yeah.
Haven't asked for a single one. Pretty incredible.
that's good.
You know,
But
not bad.
feels like you're asking right now for more.
Looking for attention.
Well, we'll see. See if we get up to 30 or not. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Morning Shootaround, this one featuring Mr. Keegan Bell. And on behalf of the folks here at the Performance Center, thanks as well to our sponsors, X-Treme Threads and Panam Contracting. We will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
You can just push the button.